Welcome to the Put on Waivers Media Group, home of the Put on Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
And welcome everybody to the glorious episode of the Put on Raiders podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, along with Ryan Holmes, and we are bringing you everything silver and black, the good, the bad, the ugly. The Raiders did some good this weekend. They did some good, and they did some bad, but they won the game against the Tennessee Titans. They played so good. They got the coach for the Titans fired. So we'll talk about that and much more here on the show. I want to thank everybody who's watching and listening to the show in Victor, Idaho, Kansas City, Missouri. We got San Diego, California, Keene, New Hampshire, Milford, New Jersey, Oakland, California, Bethesda, Maryland, Carlsbad, California, Stratford, Connecticut, Hillsboro, Oregon, and Lakewood, Washington are all listening and watching the Put on Raiders podcast.
Thrown into the Pacific Northwest.
Go ahead,
Oregon, Washington.
I see. I got everything over there. We got one from we got one from we got a couple folks from Frankfurt. So I was like, hey, listen, worldwide. All right, so the Raiders, they beat the Titans on Sunday. It wasn't really the most, it was a little ugly, but they got it done. I think defensively, we can start there. About what they did in the defense. I thought to me, there's a feel for the game when you're calling plays, whether it's on offense or defense, Ryan. And when you have that deer in the headlights look from a rookie quarterback, the play clock is getting down to one or two. Could have multiple delay of games in this game. They look like a whole confused outfit over there with the great Bo Hardigree calling plays. They did a great job taking advantage of that. And I thought Devin White had a really good game, and his play kind of gave the Raiders all they needed as far as scoring here with forcing that fumble in the red zone.
Yeah, the defense definitely played well. I don't know if that's a function. We're about to find out next week.
Yes,
if that's a function of the defense, or was it a function of the Titans' offense was just that bad? So we'll see. I think the offensive line for the Titans, especially the Latham, the right tackle, was rusty. He's been out, came back. There was some miscommunication issues. They couldn't really run the football. And I think what really helped here is the Raiders got a lead. They got a 2-score lead. They're up 10-0 pretty early in this game. And then Tennessee just went into pass mode. They ran the ball 15 times. They passed it 38. When you have a rookie quarterback throwing the ball nearly 40 times on the road against the Raiders pass rush, the pass rush came alive. I think they had 4 or 5 sacks. But I think the biggest thing, I just got done watching the all 22 of the defense. I haven't watched the offense, but the Raiders have been a very heavy cover 3 team this year that we've documented, we've talked about. I want to say, I don't have the exact number, so if anyone wants to quote me, don't do it. But I want to say it was 5 to 7, maybe snaps of cover 3 the entire game, and it was late. So maybe Patrick Graham and Pete Carroll listened to last week's podcast, and when we said they need to be a 2-high team, they don't have a free safety that can play cover 3.
Yeah.
And it kind of helps hide the corners a little. So you saw Blue Kelly got hidden a little bit over there. Got beat a couple times on some corner routes where the safety didn't get over the top. But they need to be a cover 2 team going forward. And Patrick Graham, that was, I believe, his second highest coverage call last year. And as long as the pass rush can get home, they can play cover 2 because they have the pieces to kind of do that.
Yeah.
But right away, right out of the box, it's cover 2. They played man like 4 or 5 snaps in the first quarter. I'm like, man, I haven't seen that all year. That they cover 0 blitzes were still coming. And just overall, and then they kind of shifted it. They played a lot of cover 6, which I saw them doing a little bit a couple weeks ago, but they did it quite a bit this year. The Devin White interception before halftime was cover 6. So they're playing cover 4 to the strong side of the passing formation and then cover 2 to the backside. But so they just mixed their coverages a lot and they just got away from what they did. So I think one, it kind of shell shocked the Titans. They probably came out and said, all right, they're going to play cover three. And then they didn't do that. They did something completely different. So um, we'll see what they have up their sleeve next week because they're not going to be able to do that against Patrick Mahomes. You're not going to be able to just come out and play cover two
Yeah.
and try to beat the Chiefs. So whoever that was, and I posted that Patrick had mixed it up. Everyone immediately assumes let PG cook, like, get Carroll out of here with his old cover three. We don't know who made that call. We don't know if that was Pete.
Yeah.
We don't know if that was Patrick Graham. So let's not just assume because the defense played well, Patrick Graham called the defense and he said F you to Pete Carroll. We don't know that.
Yeah.
We don't want to get into this bickering war where like the Raiders have had in the past where like when one unit does good, it's because this guy that we like was the reason why. And then when they do bad, it's because Pete Carroll gets involved or the guy we don't like gets involved and we start choosing sides. So the
Yeah.
defense played well for 1 week and we'll see if they can continue that next week. But we'll see.
Yeah. And we'll see. But I mean, a lot of times you have these games where you might have it looks like a mismatch on paper, Ryan, but it's a divisional game. And divisional games, you can kind of throw a lot of the stuff out. I mean, there's times where the Raiders have played the Chiefs, and it looks like okay, we kind of go into this game and we'll analyze it, break it down, and we'll say, all right, this is not going to be fun on Sunday. And next thing you know, it's the fourth quarter, and it's a 3 point game. So we'll see what happens as far as that goes. Cover two, a lot of man. Like I said, the pass rush, you could feel it. I thought, I mean, listen, shout out to the Raider fans who went to this game. Good for you guys. Like I know it's been hard the last couple of weeks, but shout out to Raider Nation for showing up. But I thought Butler was in there a lot. Lalu was in there. I believe he had a sack in there. I think he had. If you look at the
Spin move. Yeah.
nice spin move, he had 67% of the snaps in there as far as defensive line goes. So are they still? Did they do more? Did they do any less or more of the dropping Kuntz and
They
Crosby in
did not.
coverage? Did
They
not.
didn't
Okay,
drop him
man.
this week. I will say this. Um, I know everyone gets they see the inactives. Like, why is Tonka Hemingway inactive? Why is JJ Pagoose inactive? Well, who are you going to take off the field? Like,
Yeah.
they need to have Butler, Booker, and Lalalu active. So that leaves one spot most weeks for another defensive tackle. This week they went with Fotu, who's the run stuffer, the nose tackle. You
Yeah.
can't have all 5 or 6 active. There's just not enough spots on the team.
Yeah.
Um, Thomas Booker didn't really show up in this game. That was kind of concerned, like the snaps he got. Lalalu's definitely ascending upwards. He had a great game.
Yes.
Great game. Butler kind of flashed a little bit. So like I don't think you're gonna see Hemingway or Pagoose next week because I think you're gonna get pretty much the same
Yep.
rotation.
100%. And then you
Matt,
got go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say they actually, early on Max kind of, tried to crash inside. They tried to loop him around, all the annoying stuff we've seen on film. But once they got the lead, they lined him up wide and let him go,
Yep.
especially in the second half. And you saw Max Crosby come alive. That's what they need to do more of. Now the concern is on the other side. You got 2 or 3 guys that are getting one-on-one block the entire game, didn't really do anything. Like I'm starting to get concerned about Malcolm Koonce.
Yep.
I'm getting concerned about Tyree Wilson. Like he's not winning on his own. He's winning when they do stunts and they just loop him in. Um, One of those 2 guys is going to have to start getting to the quarterback, or else Max Crosby is just going to die over there on the other end, getting 2 or 3 guys every
Yeah.
time. Adam Butler needs to start winning. So, um, the, I think PG or Carroll did a great job here, where they kind of aligned a couple of times. Like they had Roberts and White on the same side as
Mhm.
Max Crosby. So there was one of the Max Crosby sacks. It was to the weak side, and they had to bring the running back up kind of in close to the line in case one of the linebackers came, so he couldn't chip. So that left the right tackle one-on-one. So Max Crosby got a win and got a sack. A lot of the pressure they had in this game was basically just blitzing the linebackers and just bringing pressure. It wasn't the front four necessarily. So
No.
you can't do that every week. You can do that when Calvin Ridley's not on the field and the Titans had no one that could really affect them in the passing game and then a rookie quarterback,
Yeah.
which I'd like to see them do a lot more. They didn't do any of that when Marcus Mariota was out there, kind of that
Yeah.
vet. But they typically don't mix the coverages when they play a young or rookie quarterback. I'm glad to see that they actually did it this week
Yeah.
and we saw the results. Take the win. I thought the offense on the other side, I haven't watched the all 22, but from the broadcast side, like Chip Kelly basically put the handcuffs on Geno Smith and said, "We're not throwing it down the field. You're not holding the ball. We're calling everything underneath. Get it out of your hands. We're going to run the football." They didn't run it very well, 32 times for 68 yards, but they stuck with it. They got a lead, and you saw Trey Tucker kind of come alive. There was that one and kind of that out route, that speed out where Geno actually put the ball in a great spot for Tucker to catch it and turn upfield towards the sideline. Michael Mayer got involved, but they're not going to be able to survive against better teams playing the way they did last week. They got the win. I'll give
Yeah.
them credit for that. If they play that same style of ball next week and those same kind of
Mm.
coverages against the Kansas City Chiefs, they're going to get run out of Arrowhead. And I know it's a rivalry game, but Kansas City's starting to come alive on the offense side. They have way too much speed for the Raiders to play the style of defense they played last week.
Yeah, and I don't really. I mean, and for me, watching the game, and you're like, okay, after a certain amount of time, you're like, okay, they're really just not gonna throw the football here past 10 yards. Like, I mean, it was really kind of evident about that. So that was really evident watching the game. And if that's the way they got to play, that's the way they got to play. Genty was 23 of 75, so that wasn't great, but I mean, it's still, I want the kid to get the carries. You know what I mean? Like, you run the football, get the offensive line involved. That's okay by me. I do think a guy who is truly developing before our eyes could be Tucker. I'm not saying Tucker's going to be, a number one receiver or anything like that, but I mean, he can. If he has a lot of speed, you can move him around. The jet sweep stuff, put him in motion. You can do orbit motion. You can do a lot of different things with him, where defenses have to really kind of take a sit there and, like, look at what he's doing, and also you got to protect with him going over the top as well too. So he was good, and good to see Michael Mayer get involved. We talked about that. I know there was times where people were saying, "Hey, it's off season. Let's trade Michael Mayer, see what we can get." Now I can't even imagine this tight end room without Michael Mayer in it right now, considering what happened to Brock Bowers, right? So that'd
We
been
saw it last week.
yeah, it was brutal. It was brutal. We know what that looks like. So pretty gross, pretty gross. So good job by good job by them as far as that goes. I think, talking about Chip, and you mentioned Chip. You would put out these tweets that were pretty funny, but you know, hopefully somebody loves you the way the Raiders love Alice Kappa. Um, because to call that play listen, even a team that is like the Raiders has options on offense. They got options on offense in the red zone, in the goal line situation. Like, I just don't, like, bro. I don't come on don't, that pass play is like that. We can just put that was in the playbook. We can just take it right out.
I don't mind the play call. I mind it being Alex Kappa. Like, if you're going to go
Yes.
jumbo and throw the ball, you shouldn't do it to a backup guard. Typically, you want to put a tackle out there. And you have Charles Grant, who's kind of athletic, and he's a bigger
Yeah.
guy, and he's a tackle, and they probably wouldn't suspect that. They didn't fall for it with Kappa, but it's kind of raises a flag when you see, oh, there's a guard lined up outside. Like, that's
Yeah.
not typical in jumbo. It's usually a tackle, but I would just turn around and give the ball to Genty 3 times, try to pound it in.
Yeah.
The
How's that work?
the one thing this team doesn't have is that when you get in the low red zone, they don't have that big outside receiver you could just throw the fade route to
Yeah.
that can win a jump ball. I think that's hurting them a little bit in the red zone. Jacoby Myers isn't that guy. Clearly, Tucker's not. Thornton doesn't have those kind of ball skills. Um, Betch might develop into something like that down the line, but you're not ready to start doing that right now with him. So that kind of hampers them when they get down there in the red zone. I do think. I saw some people complaining late in the game when they ran the ball on 3rd and 3 when they were up 17. I think it was 17-3.
Yeah.
I was all for running it on 3rd and 3. I think I texted you, like, kick the field goal, go up 17 points. You're not going to lose when you're up by 17 with 6 or 7 minutes left in the game versus taking a sack, throwing a pick. Um, that Gino could do. Next week on the road, Stone Forsyth in Arrowhead. If they fall behind, like, you need to turn around and give the ball to Genty and get him going, lather that guy up early. But if this thing gets up to 10 or 14 point lead for Kansas City and they have to drop back and pass, it's going to get ugly.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, and I think the thing that worries me about playing a team like Kansas City is that you go into that game and you say to yourself, okay, you want to stay close and whatever, whatever, but they're not going to just sit and let you pass the ball short. Like they're jumping some of that stuff, and they're bringing that pressure. They're bringing the heat. Like they're not playing that game with you. So I think that's the biggest thing that I would say if I'm the Raiders. I'm like, bro, like they gotta test them deep. They gotta do whatever they can to win that game. I don't know. I think the disappointing thing is that Gino couldn't get through this game without turning the ball over. Even even I mean, I think he said he was trying to ground the ball and it had too much air on it. So, I guess and he was talking about how unlucky he is. So I don't know about that one. But if you're gonna ground it. It's it's honing on some baseball skills or something like that. But yeah, still they still have that issue going. I'm not sure. Obviously, I mean, I don't think the Chiefs and Spags are going to sit there and just let Genty cook in this game. He might hit a couple of plays here and there, but I think it might be a good idea to try to get him isolated on some of those linebackers from KC. But that might be tough as well. I think KC is starting to come along and play well, and obviously Rashid Rice is going to be an issue for them too as well because I know they want to get him involved because his first game back.
I think the key here is if Kansas City stacks the box, which they're going to, they're not going to let Genty beat them.
Yeah,
Gino's got to be accurate down the field, and he has to be willing to take shots. If he has one-on-one coverage outside, if it's Thornton or Tucker,
take it.
throw the go route. You got to throw it. You can't hold it. You can't second guess yourself. But they're gonna have to complete some of those because you don't want second or third and long. So they're gonna have to hit a couple of big pass plays down the field. They're gonna have to run it enough to keep the defense honest, and they can't fall behind in the first quarter. So like, and they're gonna need to play well on special teams and maybe pop a return themselves.
Mhm.
Like there's a path to winning here. It's very small. It's razor thin.
Yeah,
And it's going to also start with Geno Smith. Like you can't go on the road and turn the ball over here, but um, we'll see. It's going to be interesting. I don't think Kansas City's running the ball very well right now, but they're starting to throw the ball a lot. The
yeah,
offensive line's playing pretty well. They're going to have a plan for Max Crosby. So someone on the other side is going to have to win. It's going to have to be Wilson, Butler, Lalalu, or Kuntz. Those guys are going to have to come alive this week because you can play cover two against Patrick Mahomes. They did it a couple years ago and went in there and won, but the pass rush ate. Like those guys got to Patrick Mahomes. I think they sacked him 5 times in that game
yeah.
and got a couple turnovers. So, um, well, it's going to be an interesting game. Like I said, we should know pretty well about a quarter and a half in how that game's going to go.
Yeah, we should definitely know early on in this one to see who's going to win this game. To see what's going on. As far as that goes, I mean, if you play this game, 20 times, the Raiders probably win. If you do a model and they play the game 20 times, the Raiders probably win two of them. I don't see, but it is that chance. The Raiders do have a chance out here, to make this game competitive. I do think you mentioned Foresight. That is probably the biggest worry I have in this game is him out there against Kansas City. I mean, if I'm Kansas City, I'm just throwing because I didn't see anything when I watched the film to be like, oh, I feel good about Stone Foresight going forward, or even his past film. He's a swing tackle, and that's all he is, and it's going to be tough to kind of work around that unless you consistently help him on that side.
Yeah, they're going to have to, because you know that they're going to put Karlaftis over there, and they're going to put. I would expect to see Chris Jones over there at times. They haven't helped them a lot, which is kind of weird. But at some point, you're going to have to put a tight end. They don't really want to use Genty to chip on that, so you're going to have to put a tight end over there. Just help or put 6 offensive linemen in. Can't do that obviously on third and long, but. I would be concerned too if Chris Jones is over Dylan Parham or Jordan Meredith or
Yeah,
just move him around. I would even be concerned when he's over JPJ. Like he's a game wrecker.
yeah,
The Raiders offensive line is going to have to play well. I thought DJ Glaze had a pretty good game this week, but again, it's tough to tell because they're playing the Titans. Like they don't
yeah,
have a lot of difference makers. They fired the coach Brian Callahan after the game,
yeah,
ex-Raider assistant, son of Bill Callahan. Um, it's just a bad operation over there right now
no,
in Tennessee. So the Raiders got the win. Can't take it away. Just win, baby. Hopefully they can build some momentum after this. But I'm not changing the outlook of the season off of beating Tennessee. I want to see some progress, and I don't expect them to win in Kansas City. But if they can keep it close, make a game of it, and just not go over there and give up a 40 burger like they've done a couple the last two times they've gone on the road,
Yeah.
and make it a respectable game, 27-20,
Yeah.
28-21, 28-24. Like the offense moves the ball.
What's the
They make
what's
some
the
completion. The
yeah,
line's got to be at least 10.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
it has to be at least 10. Yeah,
I'll look it up right now.
it has to be double digits to see as far as that goes. But yeah, it's just brutal. The Raiders playing in this game here against the Chiefs, and you want to see you want to see a competitive game. I don't know if we're going to see a
We
competitive.
weren't even close. It's 12.5.
It's 12 and a half. So it's 12 and a half. So they really think, I mean,
Two touchdowns.
you don't see lines that big in pro football. And usually it's one game a week like that, but a lot of times teams don't cover. They might win, but they don't cover. But like, yeah, I don't.
In retrospect, New England's only a 7.5 point favorite against Tennessee this week.
In Tennessee.
Yeah.
How
there's no other line over 6.5 right now this week. So like they basically think they have twice as good a chance to beat the Raiders as any other game on the books.
So you
but
think
it can happen? It's any given Sunday.
Yeah, it can happen. You think just maybe Vrabel, if he gets a chance to blow out the Titans and run it up on them, he might do it.
I just think he wants to win the game. That's all that matters.
They're playing.
Fans want to.
It seems like it was years ago that the Raiders beat the Patriots, and now the Patriots are pretty much on fire. And if they win this week, they'll be 5-2.
5-2.
5-2. So I mean, and they beat the Bills and Buffalo. Like, it's and Drake May's playing well. They drafted a quarterback.
Yeah. Someone on this podcast liked Drake May in the draft. I have the receipts. I won't post them.
I mean,
I got called every name in the book. For
I told people, I was sitting there like, I told people I would draft any one of the six. Give me any one of the six.
All six of those teams are 500 or better.
Yeah, so I would take any of the six. I don't think Troy Aikman would take Caleb Williams though. We know that from last night. Let's see here. Anything else in the mix here? Do you think you mentioned Booker and like his and like kind of like not being really active or effective in this game? Could that be a spot where Pegues or somebody like that could kind of step in? And no, right?
You need pass rush this week. So like if one of the two's active, it's probably Hemingway.
Yeah.
But they need those outside guys. So like I don't think the Raiders are going to line up on the bigger heavy linemen this week because I don't think they expect Kansas City to run the ball 30 times.
They're not.
They need to defend the pass this week.
Yeah.
If Kansas City wants to turn around and hand it off all the time, the Raiders are going to be more than willing to let them do that.
Yes, exactly. As long as they don't give up a huge, gigantic run, they're going to be there. They'll take that. They'll take that to the bank. They'll be happy as hell.
And the run defense has been pretty good. And this week against Tennessee, again, it's Tennessee. We keep harping on that, but they played too high like the whole game. So like they weren't worried about putting an eighth guy in the box, but they got a lead. So
yeah. Game balls. I think Devin White for me. I got Devin White got to get one, right? Devin White has to get one. A sack, tackle for loss, a big part of this win as well. Max got in there, and got a couple of sacks. On offense, I would definitely roll with I'll go Michael Mayer. Because I'd like to see the tight end get involved, and they needed him badly. The play from the previous week where the tight end blocked and then went out for a pass, and then Gino didn't
Thomas
and Thomas in red zone, and then he didn't throw it to the tight end because when you do that, you get a free rusher, so you got to throw it to the tight end. So then getting sacked. The following week, they did the same thing with Michael Mayer, and then Michael Mayer scored this week. So hopefully, I'm looking for a guiding light on offense. Like I didn't see anything from Gino that I liked in this game. I thought maybe he had a couple of nice plays to Tucker. I still think he's holding it and burping the baby in the pocket when you can see him go like this, and it's like, dude, like that's get rid of the ball, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like it just, and then you see all 22, you see like little windows here where he get the ball in, he just doesn't throw it. So it's just difficult to watch him play right now because he's just not feeling. Something is not clicking for him in this offense.
I think he's just gun shy from all the turnovers and
Yeah,
understanding that he's letting the team down. I just think he's
confidence,
trying so
confidence.
hard
Yeah,
not to turn it over that he's not playing well, and then he is still turning it over.
yeah,
Um, Game balls, I'm going to go Jonah Lalalu, the defensive tackle. Like he just flashed. He was all over the tape and
yep.
running just effort, pass rush, making plays in the flat. I'll go Trey Tucker, 5 for 70, caught all 5 targets. I'm going to go Alex Bachman, punt returning
Yep.
as well. I thought he had 2 or 3 really good punt returns to put the Raiders in position near midfield. They didn't take advantage of it
Hmm.
most times, but um, I'll go with those 3 guys. I thought they played well. Pete Carroll came out and said Kai Blue Kelly played well. I'm not. I don't think he did this week. I think they played cover 2, tried to hide him, and they still hit some balls behind him. He had a couple snaps where you're like, okay, like he had good technique, and then a couple where you're like, why isn't he sinking more? Like, what is he doing? There was another play where originally, I don't know if you remember, I think it was in the third or fourth quarter, but Cam Ward kind of rolled out to his right. They were playing cover 2, and you kind of saw him throw that corner out to Van Jefferson, and you're like, what's Stokes doing? Why is Stokes coming up? But there was a player in the flat. He's the flat defender.
Yep.
Jeremy Chin just was turned the wrong way and didn't get over to the sideline. So um, even when they're playing some cover 2, there is still concern that the safeties are not getting over and covering, those shots towards the sideline that are deeper routes, the corner routes, the honey hole they call it. But if they throw some of those kind of go routes into those windows, but they have to hide those guys. They don't
Yeah.
have great range. Um, we'll see if Lonnie Johnson makes it back. I know like you had sent me the tweet where he put like the what was it, the timer that was counting down here. Yeah.
The Dame, the
Um,
Dame, Dame, Dame time.
I don't know where he fits into this defense. Like, are they going to put Chen in the slot and let him play, the deep safety? Because he's not a free safety either. I know he played corner in college, but like, you don't think of him as like this rangy free safety that's just going to make a ton of plays on the ball. Um, I think of him more as like a bigger guy, similar to Chin, where you can move him down to the box. He can cover some tight ends. Um, I don't think he has great range on the back end, but maybe to get another safety back in there. They've been playing McCollum quite a bit the last 2 weeks as kind of that
Hmm.
third safety. So we'll see what they do there, but they need to get healthy. Brock Bowers, we'll see. I don't expect him to play this week. Just sit him this week, give him another week, and hopefully get him back after the bye, and just continue to try to develop them. And again, I just want to talk about everyone that's just complaining about we're not playing 11 rookies. Like screw everyone else. Like this team's still trying to win. Like they're still trying to run guys out there that they think give them the best shot. Like when they're officially eliminated, you're probably going to see all these guys playing. So like don't worry about it in week 5 or 6.
Yeah.
If that's the
Yeah.
sixth round pick defensive tackle who's sixth on the depth chart isn't getting snaps, like the guys in front of him, like other than Adam Butler, like Lalalu's a second year player. Like Thomas Booker is very young, like probably third or fourth year player there for Philly out of Stanford. So like they're getting reps for those guys. Tyree Wilson's a young player. Malcolm Kuntz is a young player. Eric Stokes is still relatively a young player.
Yeah.
Kyle Kelly, like him or not, he's still a young player. He's in like his third year in the league. So like they still have young guys all over the field. They even mixed in Tommy Eichenberg. In the fourth quarter, he played a drive at linebacker. So they got him some snaps, 7, 8, 9, 10 snaps, whatever that drive was. So like
Yeah.
they're mixing those guys in, but you can't just throw all 11 of these guys on the field at the same time. I saw someone even talking about playing Cam Miller. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
You're not
I'm
going to let Cam Miller out there if you traded for Kenny Pickett.
and here's the thing with the way the Raiders roster looks, okay, folks, it's gonna happen.
It'll happen.
It'll
Just be patient.
just be patient. Give it a couple more weeks. It's gonna happen. Anything else on this game or the Chiefs game?
I just think like, I hope they can go into Kansas City and find a way to win that game. Like we said, anything's possible. They went in there and won with Aiden O'Connell. So I'm not going to say they can't go in there and win with Geno Smith, but they need all 3 phases to show up. The offensive line has to play well. They have to run the ball. They can't turn it over. They can't get penalties. They have to be good on special teams. They have to play good defense. Um, so it is possible. We'll see. But it's also possible to go the other way as well. So
I mean, like, it's possible it could get
if they
on.
go in
It
there and
could,
win
it
this
could get
game and
on.
they get to 3-4 going into the bye, it has a chance to kind of turn their season a little bit.
Yeah.
So this is a big game if this team has aspirations of being competitive, around Thanksgiving and early December. Because 3-4 is a galaxy away from 2-5 in the NFL.
Yeah,
Because then you're 1 win away from 500 instead of three.
100%. Um, AFC West time. I thought that a couple of a really ugly game for the Broncos over there in England. I thought Knicks did not play well, did not look well, and the offense didn't look well in that game, but they found a way to win it. That defense is going to find ways to win games because they are really
I've been saying it for
phenomenal.
months. That
They
defense is
are.
elite.
I mean, Patrick Surtain is just like. I mean, and what they have up front is just going to be. It's phenomenal. It's actually. It's. I mean, if it wasn't a goddamn horse on their helmet, I would say it's beautiful. But it's they're just really good. They're really good. And um, I thought this was a game where, and I know there's time when you see the laundry list of players, on Sunday morning, Quentin Johnson couldn't play for the Chargers, and you see the laundry list of players who are hurt for the Chargers. You're saying, okay, same old Chargers, but I thought Miami played their hearts out in that game, and I thought, for them to win that game with all those injuries, they had the great play from Herbert to Lab McConkey, looking like a little a little flash for Raider fans of oh my god, I can't remember his name.
Hunter
Renfro,
Renfro.
Hunter Renfro on that play. It was just a phenomenal cut by him to cut inside and make a big play there. And they missed. And I know you appreciate the special teams play. So before Dicker's kick, I don't know if you saw the kick, but did you see the holder and the catch he
No,
made? The
I
ball
didn't see
is
it.
the ball is thrown like over here. And he catches it and gets it down in time for the kick. It was a really good hand. It was a really good play by the holder in that game. Otherwise they lose that game on that field goal. So they're going to be. I mean, this division is. I think Kansas City is definitely going to. Kansas City wins this week against the Raiders. You can start to see that they're going to be back. But I do think that the Chargers and Broncos are for real. I think they definitely are for real. And if you look at the Chargers real quick, they're 4-0 in the conference. That's when you go with the tiebreakers and things like that. That's pretty
3-0 in
huge,
the division.
and that's really all that is huge for them. Yeah,
Yeah, I still, the Broncos defense is really good, but Bo Nix is slumping this year. He's
he's
had a game
slumping.
or two where
He's
he's been all
slumping.
right,
Yeah,
but he hasn't played well.
100%.
But that defense is good enough to carry that team most
Yeah,
weeks. And they'll keep them in games, but they're only going to go as far as Bo Nix takes them when we get into December and then obviously into January to make the playoffs.
yep,
And if you're a Chargers fan, like take the win. Like you went on the road, you went across
yes.
country, you
It's
played
a
in
great one.
Miami, you have a mash unit on the field, and you figured out a way to win.
10
Yeah,
a.m.
they
start.
they,
10.
they didn't play pretty, but they won.
Yep.
Um, which the Raiders didn't play pretty and they won.
Yeah,
Like just
exactly.
take the win. So I just think looking around, like all the coaches that the Raiders have been linked to in the past, and we were on Harbaugh, we were on Vrabel, we were on Cohen, like and we got AP and Pete. So
I mean,
it's tough.
I watch the Commanders play sometimes. And I'm
Even Ben
like,
Johnson is that people don't
but
like Ben Johnson, but he's winning with the Bears. They went on
but
the road and just beat the Commanders.
and after a slow start, they won three straight. Like I thought
Yeah.
what they're three, they're 3-2. They had 3-2. They won three straight. And then I mean, I would even take. I was talking to somebody about the day. I was like, could we draft a quarterback and just get Cliff? I'll take Cliff right now. I don't care. I'll take whatever. But yeah, I mean, as long as I get my quarterback. But yeah, I 100%. Like a lot of guys who are. I mean, they have to. It's do we do you? Here's my question. Do you think that if they let if they're just mediocre and Pete does the 3 years and then they let Pete go, is that easier to get a quality coach, a quality young coach, like a young mind coming in? Is that easier to get him then, or is it going to be or to be or just after 1 year? If they win 3 games this year, do you go out there and just let Pete
Well,
go?
they've
And
won two, so hopefully they win more than three.
well,
I think of it this way: when you start talking about these young offensive minded coaches and the teams they're going to, there's one thing in common. They all
you
have a
have
young quarterback
quarterback.
already on the roster.
Yeah,
So if Pete Carroll lasts 3 years and the Raiders don't take a first round quarterback in those 3 years, then no, they're going to be in the same situation where
yeah,
the top candidates aren't going to want to come. So the only way to attract those guys is they're going to have to pull the trigger either this year or next year, assuming Pete stays 3. And then if he walks away in 3 or 4 years, that guy has to already be in the building, or they have to have the number 1 pick, and there has to be a quarterback in that draft. So that's a lot of ifs. In regards to Chip Kelly, I don't think he's been terrible. I know a lot of people think he has, but like he doesn't have Colton Miller. He doesn't have a center on this roster, although this, it might be his problem why Meredith's in there.
Well, he got 2 in there.
He's got Geno turning the ball over at a high rate. He doesn't have a number 1 receiver, and he hasn't had a healthy Brock Bowers since week 1. So like, and the receivers on this roster aren't good. It's not a deep room. You have 2 rookies, one of them in Thornton, who's already been benched because he can't really run any routes.
Yeah.
And they kind of put Jack Besh in last week. Tucker's coming along fine. Jacoby is what Jacoby is, but and he didn't have Michael Mayer for 2 weeks, 2.5 games. So like, before we throw Chip Kelly under the bus and think he's terrible, just because he's making $6 million, that they need to score 40 points or 30 points a week and be the number 1 offense. They don't have anywhere near that type of personnel. So let's see what this looks like in week 12, week 13, week 14, when Genty gets going, when Bowers gets back. Like, hopefully Geno is better or has been replaced by then. Maybe Miller's back in here and the offensive line has some time. Glaze is coming along all right. JPJ has been pretty good at guard. So like, I'm not in like the get rid of Chip Kelly after 1 year issue. Like, I'd like to see him have a little bit better players around him, because he's been a really good offensive play caller everywhere he's been, at every stop in his career. So you have to look at the big picture here. And I don't know if Mark Davis, I know a lot of people think that Pete Carroll's done after 1 year, but like, he's still paying a lot of people. And like, I don't know how long these contracts are. I don't think unless this thing goes off the rails, if they win 5 or 6 games, Pete Carroll's coming back.
Unless I mean, and we know about Mark. Once it gets embarrassing, that's when he will make the move. Like, I mean,
what time's kickoff on Sunday? No.
I mean, for us, it's already been for us. It's been embarrassing already. But for him, his level of embarrassment is a little different. Like I think when he walks up, when he turns on some of the talking head shows and people are making jokes about the Raiders, I think that's when he'll start paying attention and do it like that. So we'll see what happens as far as that goes. All right, Put on Raiders podcast. Raiders Chiefs should be fun. It's always fun to and then if you happen to win, one of the funniest things you can do, Raider fans, if the Raiders happen to win, is just go into a Chief space and just go on. Don't just be a listener. It's pretty hilarious. It's pretty hilarious, but it's comedy watching them complain. It's pretty crazy. Anything else?
Hopefully the next 3 days go well for me, and then I don't really care what happens on Sunday.
So. yes. Have a safe trip. Have fun. The Dodgers are doing what the Dodgers do, so we'll see. We'll see what happens as far as that stuff goes. All right, later.
All right.
Take care.
Take care.